Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope you're all doing great. So the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim has done so well for so long because the world it presents us with is incredibly rich. The level of thought that went into building all this and making sure that so much of it is intertwined is truly amazing. But it's not perfect. Every now and then you'll come across something that doesn't make a lot of sense given the rest of the setting, or just outright contradicts something else you've heard. But you know what? That's okay, because the laps are part of the experience. So let's discuss 5 hilarious plot holes in our beloved Skyrim. For starters, how about this general notion that there was doubt regarding the existence of dragons? I mean, their bones are everywhere, man. Has it really never occurred to anyone to dig at one of these burial mounds to see if they find dragon bones in there? Yeah, and there's also Numenex's skull in Dragon's Reach. What do they think that is? Some kind of fake? In all fairness, there are ways to reconcile this. For example, very orthodox followers of Abrahamic traditions often answer the question of how can God have created the world a few thousand years ago if things like dinosaur bones have existed for millions of years with, well, God created the world with a history. So we can use something like that to say, alright, so maybe they believe that their gods created Mundus with this history of dragons. But that's not the only problem with this, because there's lots of things like gods, like the Daedra for instance, that they don't doubt the existence of. You know, there's werewolves and vampires in this universe, yet for some reason they doubt that the dragons could have actually existed. It's ridiculous. Next up, the history of Rorikstead. The story that we get from this guy, Juan Minette, is that the settlement of Rorikstead was founded after the Great War by a veteran named Rorik and himself. So that would have been a few decades ago. However, there are several references to this town in the lore that seemingly predate that. For instance, the song Ragnar the Red. There once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead. And there is no confirmation of when exactly that song was written, but I mean, if it's an old local favorite, then it's probably not, like, new. It's probably been around for at least a few hundred years. And that's not the only time it comes up in lore. Early on in the main quest, Farengar finds this book, Holdings of Jarl Gjalland, and he thinks it dates back to the First Era or even earlier, yet there's a town in here called Rorikstead, and its description sounds a lot like Rorikstead, so yeah, there's that. So it looks as if Bethesda done goofed here. However, it's important that we note that there is a lot of mystery to Rorikstead. The biggest mystery is why did their crops grow so well? The popular theory, which I think is more than likely correct, is that this guy Juan has been sacrificing women in order to make their harvest bountiful. So it's possible that this discrepancy regarding the origin of this town is part of the mystery. Like maybe we're meant to take note that there's something not right here so that we'll ask questions like, I don't know, maybe this guy Rorik is like a resurrected body that this guy Juan's using as like a figurehead. So maybe this is intentional, but I think it's more likely that it is a mistake. My guess is that different developers were working on the town itself and the lore, and they just had a communication breakdown. For a third spot, we've got the Emperor visiting Skyrim during the Civil War. The whole premise of the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim is that you're assassinating Emperor Titus Mede II. And it's really a very good questline, it just doesn't fit with the rest of the game. The plan is to use the death of his cousin to lure him to Skyrim, but it really only makes sense if you sided with the Imperials for the Civil War questline and have already completed that questline. An emperor would never travel to a place that's rebelling against him just for his cousin's funeral. It would never happen in a million years. And if the Stormcloaks have won the Civil War, then that means they control Solitude, where he visits. They'd never let the emperor that they rebelled against visit, or if they did, it would be a trap to kill him. So this was just kind of a miss on Bethesda's part. I think they should have saved this idea for Elder Scrolls 6 and done something different for Skyrim's Dark Brotherhood. Next up, we've got there being holes in the ceilings of caves and other various caverns that aren't actually there on the exterior map. Take Bloated Man's Grotto, for instance. See how we can see the sky here, yet if we fly over this mountain on the outside, we never actually see the inside of Bloated Man's Grotto? Yeah, that's not right, is it? But I mean, what is there to really do here? There needs to be something that justifies you being able to see underground, but you can't have, like, holes up on the floor of the map that you can fall into. Plus, why do that to your team from a development standpoint? Like, I mean, like, every crevice of the cave has to be there on the exterior map. I mean, what is that? It's months of extra work is what it is. There's, of course, some dungeons that have artificial sources of light, like Drummer Ruins, so you could do some more things with that. It's really a matter of what it's worth. And I mean, did you ever notice that these holes aren't actually there on the exterior map until I just told you now? No, probably not. So why deal with it? Let's just let it be. Lastly, throughout playing Skyrim, the player inevitably becomes champion to a lot of the Daedric princes. However, the lore implies that part of that deal is that the Daedra get your soul when you die, when you become their champion. So, if you're champion to multiple princes, then who gets your soul in the end? And when it comes to Dragonborns, well, there's Akatosh too. Does Akatosh get a say? I don't know. But really, there are ways around this one too. You know, like maybe you're lying, you know, you're being floozy with your soul just to get Daedric weapons, you know what I mean? So this really just needs further explanation, then it works out fine. Well, that's a wrap, folks. Those are 5 hilarious plot holes in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Be sure to check out my short-form platforms if you enjoy some light trivia. These followings have really started taking off since I just started making content for these platforms, so yeah, if you want to check it out, be sure to. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to share so that we could all have some laughs together. I hope to see you all next time.